What's good, y'all? Reborn here, back with another video, and today we are going to be discussing a topic of anime remakes. What anime, deserve remakes, things like that. This is just going to be me, discussing, what anime I want to see get remakes, and, also we're going to be delving into a little bit of, what warrants an anime remake, right? Now, obviously, we have seen quite a few anime get remakes, like, Full Metal Alchemist, Hunter x Hunter, Hellsing, Devilman, Trigun, Dorodoro, and many more. But what should be the criteria when discussing if an anime should be remade, right? After years of grueling research, guys, I'm trolling, I finally cracked the code. So here are the things that I believe most when we're taking into account, if a series should get remade. First things first, the popularity of the series, right? You definitely want to make sure this series has an audience, because you don't want to just remake something and it kind of just goes, like nobody talks about it or nobody looks at it. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, you want to cater to those older fans, and you also want to bring new people in. So you want to make sure that you have a pretty good, you want to make sure that you have a pretty good audience going into this. And yeah, next, I think this is probably the most important when it comes to should an anime get remade, and that is how well did the original adaptee mangaka's work, right? Because some of the anime that we're going to be discussing here didn't adapt it well at all, so they 100%, deserve remakes for that reason. Next is how good is the animation, which isn't as significant as the other two in my opinion. Animation is obviously a very big part of anime, but yeah. And then the least significant of the three, in my opinion, of the four, probably is how old the anime is, right? I feel like, because Full Metal Alchemist got an anime, and then Brotherhood was not that long after. So I don't think, an anime's age has too much to do with it. But yeah, first things first, let's talk about our front runner for a remake, Soul Eater. I love, Akubo. He is an amazing mangaka. His work, Soul Eater, Fire Force, Peak. I love him. I am sad that, he's retired. He's my GOAT. But as far as if his work fits the criteria that I personally set for a remake, I would say yes, right? The Soul Eater anime starts to diverge from the manga at about episode 37, and the anime itself has like 51 episodes, right? The manga has 113 chapters. Mind you, the manga is monthly, so 113 chapters sounds like a little bit, but those monthly chapters are thick, right? And the manga only adapted 36 to 37 out of its 113 chapter run. And that leaves a lot left to be desired. Those arcs that were missed out on are also considered to be the better parts of the series, and we see a lot more character interactions, and there are a couple of twists that we don't get to see, right? Now, as for the other criteria, the animation for the show is actually pretty good for its time, and I'd honestly say, it is one of the better animated shows from that time. Age-wise, it is definitely old enough to get a remake, right? I think, personally, for me, when it comes to the criteria, quote unquote, I think anime realistically are more than likely going to get remakes on anniversaries, right? So I guess a good threshold would be an anime's 15th or 20th year anniversary. Although, once again, I don't think that has to be the case. That's just what I personally think is the most likely, right? But yeah, Soul Eater's manga is impeccable. And even with how inaccurate the anime is, the series, the original anime, is still extremely popular. This would bring in a lot of newcomers, but it also give Fire Force fans something to go back to if you know the ending of Fire Force. But overall, Soul Eater, I think, is, a great candidate for getting a remake. I think this is actually something we could see soon, but yeah. Next up, let's talk about a newer series, Tokyo Ghoul, written by the amazing Sui Ishida. I hope I said that correctly. Now, listen, guys, I have to go on a rant because people don't know how Tokyo Ghoul was moving during the 2010s, man. Kaneki, bro, when I tell y'all, he was that guy, bro. The merch, the anime's popularity, you could not go anywhere without hearing Unravel. And, bro, the amount of people who were acting edgy just because they wanted to be like Kaneki, bro, that show had motion. Like, I'm not gonna lie, you know how people are like, oh, this is the era of so and so. The 2020s was like the era of Tokyo Ghoul, because that manga was raw. It had like that. It had everybody in a chokehold, bro. Everybody loved that. Even me, bro. I got into the anime first, and I thought season 1 was, solid. Obviously, we're gonna talk more about the adaptation itself, but bro, Tokyo Ghoul had that motion, bro. Like, it really had that motion. Um, Even today, guys, go on TikTok right now. Go on TikTok right now and search up manga collection, and I guarantee you, Tokyo Ghoul is always going to be somewhere in somebody's manga collection video, whether that be the box set, the singles. It's going to be there no matter what. Tokyo Ghoul is the shit, bro. But anyways, right? It getting an anime adaptation when it did should have been a free bag, because it got the anime. The manga was concluding, I believe, like right as the anime came out, but we were obviously getting the sequel series of the manga, so it was kind of not really as bad, right? This should have been an easy slam dunk with how popular the series was. But yeah, first things first, Tokyo Ghoul really stops being faithful, like, kind of during season 1, not gonna lie. When I read the manga, I was kind of shocked at, like, how much they cut from the Aogiri arc. And they also did cut some minor things, but it really gets bad during season 2, guys. Like, they completely diverge into completely, like, original content. It's not good at all. They also seem to, like, try and kind of, like, throw in some canon stuff, but it's an abomination. I'm not gonna lie. Studio Period, bro, I have beef with them because their adaptations are not good. Like, no disrespect to the animators, but they're not good, bro. Realistically, I would not recommend this anime at all. I think Soul Eater, at least with Soul Eater, the original stuff is serviceable. Like, I can watch the original stuff and be like, okay, like, this is decent enough, right? Tokyo Ghoul, what they tried to do was not good at all. The animation for Tokyo Ghoul is pretty solid, even though, like, later on it does, get a little interesting. Um, this anime is like, what, 11 years old? I believe it concluded its original run in like 2015 and then re-concluded in like 2018. So realistically, I guess, like, if we're going by the 15 to 20 year criteria, it's like, quote unquote, not old enough yet. But I'm gonna be honest, I think straight up this deserves a remake. I do think it's probably like a ways off. Like, I don't know if this is like a priority for them, but I think this is something that should be getting remade, absolutely, because, bro, the popularity of these characters still to this day, and the anime is that bad, is like actually pitiful. And then there's also Chojin X, which y'all boys need to go read that. Sweet Ishida's his newest manga. I hope that gets an anime adaptation as well, but you can do the Tokyo Ghoul remake, and then in between, Chojin X, different studios. I think that would be tough. But yeah, this, once again, bro, this is one of the most popular anime and manga of all time, and the fact that it's that weak is just crazy to me, bro. But yeah, next up we got Gantz. Now, Gantz is the iconic psychological horror series written by Hiroya Oku. I hope I said that correct. But I'm not gonna lie to y'all, this anime adaptation is kind of rough. I don't want to make fun of anybody or dunk on anybody that worked on this production, I'm sorry. But the pacing is like kind of ass, and this is only 26 episodes, so yeah, the animation also is not it. This also might be one of those ones where, like a Vagabond or a Berserk, people say like, oh, this can't be animated because, of the art. This might be one of those ones as well where some of the art in this manga might just be too hard to grasp. Also, this is a very dark manga. This is like very dark. Now, Gantz is my latest obsession. Or I started reading it like last year, of course. I'm on Omnibus 4. I ordered 5, 6, and 7, 6, 7. But they're on back order right now, so it's kind of like, damn, watch the anime. The anime is not good, guys. It's not good. I wouldn't I wouldn't recommend this at all. This didn't adapt the manga really accurately, to be honest, and the ending is like, I mean, it's not the worst thing ever. I don't know. The opening, though, is cold. I'm not gonna lie. The opening, gotta add that to my playlist. Now, do I think this needs a remake? Of course. But I don't know if it's a. I don't know if this would be like a priority for anybody because, for one, like I said, this is a very graphic and dark manga. Like, some of the themes, like, some of the things that, like, you see in this manga, and, like, I've always thought that I was, like, like, I guess I'm immune to certain stuff. Like, I can see certain things and, take it. But some of the stuff in this had me kind of like, okay, let me put this book down for a minute. So, I don't know if anybody would even want to animate this in the first place. I don't actually, I'm gonna take it back. I don't think this needs a remake. I think the manga is successful enough. I think, yeah, bro. I think some things just leave to the book, bro. Just leave to the books. I think for this to get a remake, this would have to be like some passion project shit. I think Mappa could adapt this, like, could go crazy with this. But next up, let's talk about, and this anime, it's funny, this anime is not even like one of my favorite, but this adaptation bothers me the most. The Promised Neverland. This show had everybody in a chokehold after episode 1. Season 1 was impeccable. This should have been one of the easiest adaptations ever. This is not like a crazy manga. It's not some crazy battle shonen that needs impeccable animation. None of those things. And mind you, this released in the 2020s, guys. Season 2 released in the 2020s. This is an era where we are basically getting no filler. Animes being adapted as faithfully as possible. We're getting good animation. It's just a whole thing. Let's talk about what happened with The Promised Neverland. Season 1 is widely agreed upon to be great, right? It's very accurate. The animation is good. There's no complaints with Season 1. Season 2 is where the issues start. The season starts loosely adapting the Promised Forest arc, which I remember when this was first airing. A lot of people were like, it's cool. Like, the arc is not as important, which, to be fair, it wasn't as important as the other arcs. But I literally remember, bro, like, watching the episode where Yugo was supposed to appear, and he just wasn't there. And it's like, what? Like, what are we doing? He's such a major character. And then there were some people thinking that, maybe he shows up later. But then they just started skipping, like, major arcs. Like, well, no, not even skipping. Just doing their own thing completely. Like, Goldie Pond. All those arcs. They just got skipped. This adaptation is horrible. Like, Season 1 was an experience. And Season 2 was just bad, bro. Bad. The introduction... The reintroduction of Norman was horrible. The removal of arcs, the character, everything was just bad about this. Now, I did hear that this studio was apparently only given one season to wrap it up, which, if true, that's not their fault. And I actually think the studio is very stupid. But, if that is true, they had like a fuck ton of chapters to adapt in only 11 episodes. So they kind of had to go anime original if that's the case. But even then, why did they only give them one season? Because the first season was very acclaimed. It was popular. The manga's acclaimed and popular. So I don't know why. Like, realistically, this show only needed like 3 seasons at most, So I don't know what was going on. I don't know what was going on with them. But yeah, from Season 2 is just not good. From what I remember, the animation was like, alright. The show, once again, doesn't adapt the work faithfully. The popularity is there, but the anime is still very young. I do think it deserves a remake, but I don't know. Like, this anime really could have been generational, and it had so much mainstream appeal. I could see it happening, like, later down the line, but I don't think this is, like, I don't think there are certain anime that can get that Full Metal Alchemist treatment where I think it can get a bad adaptation and it could get a remake, like, 5 years down the line. Like JJK, let's say JJK, I think the adaptation of JJK is great. There were some people saying JJK remake, which I think is crazy. But JJK, let's say that Season 1 was horrible, Season 2 is ass. Let's say Season 3 coming out currently is ass. JJK has the popularity and the motion to where it can get a remake like that. The Promised Neverland was definitely popular, but it's not moving like that. Like, realistically, this is something that I could see for, like, maybe the 15th year anniversary or something like that, right? Now, next up, we have Yu Yu Hakusho. One of my first anime, actually, written by my GOAT, Yoshihiro Togashi, my king. Hunter x Hunter, Yu Yu Hakusho, bro. Y'all don't even know. But this is another anime people have been clamoring for, to get a remake. So let's talk about it. First things first, I think the anime adapts Togashi Sensei pretty good. Like, his work is adapted pretty good for a Studio Period production, mind you. Period, I'm still beefing with you, but I'll let that slide here. The animation is very old school, but in a good way, right? It has that nostalgic feel to it. And this anime is old as hell too. Like, this is like 30 years old, so it's definitely about that time. It has a big mainstream appeal, and nothing has been done with the series or these characters for like years. So I think it would be cool for us to get that remake. Also, give us special editions for the manga, but that's the fanboy in me. I don't think this anime desperately needs an anime, but I think, like, why not, bro? Like, it's old, get some newcomer fans in, and yeah. And then last but certainly not least, and I'm actually going to make a video going more into depth on what I want to see from this series in the future, but we have Berserk, which has a multitude of adaptations. I'm not going to get into the adaptations here because I feel like most people already had the consensus, but fuck all the criteria. This flat out deserves a remake, right? But Berserk is a series where I don't think this makes sense to get like animated on a whim, if you know what I mean, where it's like a random studio just picks it up. I think if this is going to get a remake, it has to be a studio that's going to commit for this project. Like, it has to be a Berserk only studio. That's the type of time that it has to be on. I just, bro, like, yeah, man. And you also have to take into account this story is not concluded either, so you also have that in the back of your mind. What happens when we catch up? You definitely don't want anything original. They could just start making shorter seasons as time goes on, but I really think that for this to get animated, like, it would have to be like, this would have to be like a big budget type of thing where it's like, this is like a long-term commitment, something like that. But yeah, anyways, let me know what what anime you guys want to see get remade, obviously, and what you think the criteria for an anime getting remade is. I wanted to mention Hitman Reborn in this video, but it does look like we are going to get a continuation of the anime soon, which, if that's the case, y'all boys, we're definitely going to be discussing that soon. I'll see you guys in the next one. Reborn out.